Back in the last century, I had a show on the BBC called Entertainment USA. A Victim Bites Back is my attempt to try and make a modern, new century version of A Victim Bites Back. Along with all sorts of things, opinions, films, movies, music, and of course travel. For those of you more interested in the travel aspects of A Victim Bites Back than all the rest of the topics I tend to cover, Morocco is, and has been for many years now, no longer a third world country, not even a second world country. I have to tell you, buying property in Marrakech is as expensive as it is buying property in New York or London or Paris. And likewise, all the facilities here now. You get loads and loads of shops that are high designer level and high cost as well. I mentioned in the last episode of A Victim Bites Back that a friend of mine bought me a Rolex for Christmas, which was top of the line, absolutely guaranteed, genuine, original Rolex, works like a charm, looks fabulous, and cost him £5, because of course it is pirated, and you get a lot of that in Morocco as well. But apart from the fabulous villas and the superb hotels and restaurants here in Morocco, throughout Morocco, but also in Marrakech, I come here an awful lot, so I know it very, very well. I think we should take a look at some of the, I think perhaps the best Christmas decorations we saw over the last couple of weeks, which in my opinion were in the Royal Mansour Hotel in Marrakech, which is a luxury hotel without rooms. Actually, it's got little individual houses, little bungalows and homes in the grounds, and is actually on the original site of the municipal swimming pool, which was taken over by the king and built into the Royal Mansour Hotel. I used to swim in the municipal swimming pool years ago when I came here, and I had no money and I was a student and I couldn't afford to stay in hotels with the luxury swimming pools. I had to use the municipal ones. Now it's a luxury hotel, and it's been wonderful this Christmas what it's been displaying, but an awful lot of what you see in Morocco and in Marrakech is pure, unashamed 5-star luxury. So I thoroughly recommend visiting it, and if you can afford it, buying somewhere to stay. The weather is wonderful. And I thought musically, why don't we have a listen to the very first hit we had on UK records back in the early 1970s, Seaside Shuffle by Pterodactyl and the Dinosaurs.
It's a warm day, the sun is shining. Someone say, let's go to Brighton. So we all get up on our friend's car. Hold on tight, cause we're doing 90 miles per hour. We left London, where it's hot. We're heading for our favorite spot. Down on the coast, way past the town of Crawley, where the breeze blows and the air tastes of the sea. We walk along the promenade here, spend a pound or two of fun and sunbathe now on the beach. Here is the man who sells that thing way over there. Kids throw pebbles in the sea, where we swim amongst a lot of pretty company.
For those of you more interested in the music world of the last century, Seaside Shuffle was originally on Sonnet Records, a wonderful little label that emanated out of Scandinavia, run by my friend Rod Buckle. And when it failed to be a success on Sonnet, Rod allowed me to take over the license and we turned it into a big hit. I remained friends with Rod and do to this day, actually. And a few years later, I came across another European hit that I thought could be a massive British hit. So I covered it. The song was called Mississippi. The original was by a group called Pussycat, but I thought my version could be much more commercial and much better. So I covered it and rushed it out. The problem was the Pussycat record was on Sonnet, and Rod Buckle decided to go into full battle with me. Now, he knew he didn't stand a hope because I was very, very good at making sure my records turned into hits in the middle 70s. But he came up with a really good, cunning plan. Back in those days, I was absolutely the king of hyping the charts. There were only a few retailers, shops that sold records that actually allowed the chart people the returns of what they'd been selling that weren't in the top 50. And so as a result, I provided those shops with loads of free copies of my version of the record. I did this with many of my records, and they, of course, sold my versions ahead of the other ones that were on other labels that weren't provided free to them because they made 100% profit on them. As a result, my records roared into the charts, and the other versions died a death. It worked incredibly well on tracks like Fatty Bum Bum by Carl Malcolm. Anyway, we did the usual on this, and indeed the record soared into the top 50 at number 36 with no sign of the Pussycat record. However, Rod had been very, very clever. He realised how good I was at this and had actually sent half a dozen of his staff out to shops looking very much like people who were not really buying records because they loved them, to buy half a dozen copies in each shop of my record, clearly in order to hype the charts, which was not legal. Well, the shops, of course, the half dozen shops, reported this to the chart committee, who instantly took my record off the charts. And as a result, my record died, and the Mississippi by the Pussycats became a hit, went to number one, and sold millions of copies for Rod and Sonnet. I have to say, I admired him hugely for doing it, even though I resented it like mad.
Mississippi, I'll remember you whenever I shall go away. I'll be longing for the day that I will be in Greenville again. takes it away. Where the Mississippi rolls down to the sea, and lovers find a place they like to be. How many times before the song was ending, love and understanding everywhere around. Mississippi, I'll remember you whenever I shall go away. I'll be longing for the day that I will be in Greenville again. Mississippi, you'll be on my mind. Every time I hear this song, Mississippi, roll along until the end of time. Every time I hear this song, Mississippi, roll along until the end of time.
Another of the battles I lost was Gloria. When I was on the beach in Ostia, just outside Rome, where I went to an awful lot, I heard on a radio, a little cassette on the beach, this song, and I thought, that's a smash. And I went up to the middle-aged lady lying on the beach and said to her in my very broken Italian, "Excuse me, can you tell me who is singing that song and what it is?" And she told me it was a man called Umberto Tozzi, and a song called Gloria, which was his current release. Hadn't even become a hit by then. So I thought, contacted Umberto Tozzi, got his permission to write the British lyrics and do a British version of the song, and rushed it out. Now, my clever marketing ploy on Gloria was I deleted a couple of my earlier big hits. I think they were Everyone's Gone to the Moon and Una Paloma Blanca. And I deleted them several months beforehand. Now, those big old hits go on selling for years and years and years, and there was a demand for several hundred copies every week, which of course could not be fulfilled because the record was not available. However, when Gloria came out on another label, I think it was Areola I put it out on, I put it out as a twin pack. And the other single was Everyone's Gone to the Moon on one side and Una Paloma Blanca on the other side. And I thought this will get all those hundreds of people who wanted those two tracks and couldn't get them because they were deleted to buy the gatefold double copy. The other one had Gloria, and I think, I'm not sure what the B-side was, Mental Diseases, I think, but it might be wrong on that. And sure enough, the record charted, selling very well, mainly because people were only buying it for Moon and Paloma. And I said to the record company, look, I'm sorry, if it's only got that big, it isn't a hit. And they said, no, we're sure we're getting an incredible reaction to it. We're sure it is a hit. I said, don't worry, don't bother with it. We can't do that trick again. Everybody who wanted the other two hits has now bought them. The record will fall next week. Don't bother to spend a fortune hyping it. So the company, they thought I knew what I was doing. So did I. And they agreed and they stopped it. Well, the result was the record faltered and fell out of the charts and got into the charts quite high. And that was the end of it, except a friend of mine in America, Doug Morris, who was the head, he ended up his career as the head of Universal, but I can't remember what he was. I think it was Warner's at the time, had heard my record and thought that's a smash hit. and covered it with a little girl he was recording who wasn't having any success, called Laura Branigan. And they covered it and went to #1 all over the world and had a huge seller. And unfortunately didn't use my English lyrics, wrote a new English lyric to it. So the result is I never made a penny out of my version of Gloria. And worse than that, even though I was writer of the English lyric and therefore entitled to 50% of all the songwriting royalties, I never received a penny of songwriting royalties, even though Umberto Tozzi covered with my lyric for his version, which went on all his albums and greatest hits packages and everything else, and sold millions of copies in Italy, and yet I've not had a penny royalty for that either. It's not easy, but who cares? I've had fun.
Every night I see ya, but only when I'm sleeping, only when I'm dreaming. All my days are lonely, so cloudy grey without ya. But when they get too much for me, I only think of Gloria. Gloria, when I'm with ya, all my life takes on new meaning. In my world the sun starts shining. I love you, Gloria. Gloria, wait until I find ya. One day I will hold ya. One day I will touch ya. My friends say I'm crazy, but they have never met ya. Oh, I love you, Gloria. Gloria, Gloria, wait until I find ya. Gloria, one day I will hold ya. Gloria, one day I will touch ya. Gloria, you're my queen imagination, golden girl of fascination. Fantasy has no relation. I love you, Gloria. Gloria, they will talk about ya. They'll talk about your beauty. They'll talk about your loyalty. How when I'm with you, Gloria, oh, my life takes on new meaning. In my world the sun starts shining. I love you, Gloria. Gloria, wait until I find ya. One day I will hold ya. One day I will touch ya. My friends say I'm crazy, but they have never met ya. I love you, Gloria.
California is one of the very few places that have actually waived the limitations period. So that's why people can now make appeals in civil cases to get money out of people for events that happened years, even decades or centuries ago. You can understand why the rules of limitation were put in place, because it stops people who lie making false allegations. Unfortunately, of course, the predominant thing is that people never lie, especially women. They never lie, and as a result they should be entitled to be heard. It's only for a limited period, but a lot of people are going to get seriously hurt and spend an absolute fortune having to defend themselves against these charges. It's rather like the current post office scandal that's been revived because of the excellent ITV series on the scandal, starring Toby Jones, one of my favourite actors. I loved his father, actually. Freddie Jones was a great actor too. But all of these different situations tend to illustrate the current crime, which in 2024 we have to stop, and that is using the law to break the law. One way or the other, people who in the past might have attempted something like blackmail, which was of course against the law and saw them ended up in prison, are now using different tactics, false allegations, especially historical false allegations. What now has to happen is the police have to start clamping down on false accusers, and also their enablers, the lawyers who reckon they can actually twist things around to get lots of money out of rich people, or even more important, out of the estates of dead rich people, as happened with Jimmy Savile, for example, so that they can get a fortune from the estates who don't really care about these things and are happy to pay out, I don't know, a quarter of the money that they never really expected to get anyway. This new crime, this crime of the century, has to be stopped now. Marrakech at Christmas was almost deserted. In New Year's, it's completely different and packed out. It strikes me as a shame that the post office scandal needed a fictional ITV drama to bring attention to it. It's been going on for 24 years. But now, likewise, the false allegations industry needs to be looked at. Let's hope that that happens in 2024. For now, see you next episode.